In the shadow of Dubai's first of very many skyscrapers, welcome to Tuesday at Gulf Traffic. Now, Dubai has obviously come a long way since the World Trade Center behind me was the tallest building in the city. We've now got the tallest building in the world just down the road, which is the Burj Khalifa. But today is very much looking to the future rather than the past here at Gulf Traffic. And we're looking at ITS and big data. So I've been joined on the program by our keynote speaker in the conference today, who's Dr. Fethi Fileli, who's from QMIC. Thank you for joining us on today at Gulf Traffic. Tell me, what are you talking about today, please?
What is big data? So big data is a very new term and has to do with a large amount of data which is collected from a lot of sensors. If we consider traffic and safety applications, we need really huge amount of data to come up with valuable services and applications for government, for public and enterprise. So what we are going to see is how we will be able to collect this data and how we will be able to build a network of sensors and one network of data of nodes and to maintain that network. So then, after collecting this data, we need to store this data. We need to clean the data. So presenting the data as received is not really useful to the user. So we need to do what we call it data analysis. So you need to collect journey time measurements. You need to connect what we call collect original destination matrix and so on. So all these services can be provided by collecting the data and make use of the data. And is not only for ITS and traffic, but also for other vertical markets as well.
This is really part of the smart city concept, isn't it?
So we cannot really provide smart city service without having access to the big data. This is the truth. And we'll see this more in the future. So in the future, maybe 3-4 years from now, we'll see connected vehicles. So imagine the amount of data we're going to collect for all these vehicles that will communicate to each other, vehicles which will communicate to the infrastructure. We are talking about more than maybe 10 petabytes of data collected every day. So where to store this data? Do we need all this data? How we can aggregate this data to make use of it? How we can do distributed processing of this data?
And do you think there's a real opportunity for the Middle East, because you've got new growing cities like Dubai and like Doha, where you can really set the trend in the whole world for smart city technology by using big data in a new city?
Very smart question. This is a big opportunity for us. So these new emerging cities that can be considered as a test bed for new technology. So there is no need to deploy legacy traditional technologies and systems. There is a potential opportunity to deploy new advanced technologies and sensors and platforms. So as you mentioned, it's really what we are doing currently in our Qatar Mobility Innovation Center. We are deploying and developing the new technologies. This is a true opportunity for us to experiment, test and deploy new technologies, and for sure that mobile phones, smartphones will be a big data source to build this big data, and this will be the trend basically.
Fantastic. Well, all the best for your talk today. That's at 10:05 in the conference room at the back of the exhibition hall today at Gulf Traffic. You're watching today at Gulf Traffic from Thinking Highways, brought to you with Cubic Transportation Systems, leadership in technology to keep your revenue management business on track. Vitronic, the most advanced and efficient laser-based tolling, ANPR speed and red light enforcement systems, and QVision Technology. A moving picture is worth more than 1,000 words, and you get all the advantages of live streaming at a fraction of the cost and with none of the headaches. Now, I've come to the Abu Dhabi police stand because yesterday there was a very important signing that took place on this stand here at Gulf Traffic. So let's talk to one of the men you saw there signing the MOU with Serco yesterday. It's Ibrahim Ramel, who is the CEO of Saeed, which is a company based in Abu Dhabi. Thank you for joining us on today at Gulf Traffic. So tell me, what was the MOU between you and Serco all about?
It's about the cooperations of their experience in the road and the facility management. And with ourselves, where we are completing each other in terms of the traffic safety and traffic enforcement and incidents management, because we have multi projects in UAE, which we can complement each other, whereby both of our strength can combine and produce one product, strong product to the clients.
And we're on the Abu Dhabi police stand here. Is one of your major clients in this joint venture going to be Abu Dhabi Police?
Of course, but not limited to. We are after, of course, all agencies, like municipalities, Department of Transportations, and any clients can benefit of this.
And when you go to conferences, there's always seems to be a buzzword, whether it's big data, whether it's smart cities or other things. The real buzzword, though, that comes out at Gulf Traffic this year is road safety.
When you see the number of fatalities, unfortunately, yearly happening around the world, that's the big pain. We all feel it. This is why we have to work together. And by the way, we launched the program of Together, that we have to help and contribute together in order to reduce the number of fatalities, number of sad stories of the car accidents. So really, we are concerned about traffic awareness, traffic safety, and all of those people you see them today, they are showing something and part of their contribution towards this cause.
Thanks very much for joining us on today at Gulf Traffic. Have a good rest of the conference.
Thank you for it.
Vitronic means intelligent solutions for traffic surveillance. For example, the new toll checker generation for multi-lane free-flow tolling on a single gantry gives an insight to the future of toll collection and enforcement. The Polyscan product group systems stand for reliable, innovative speed and red light enforcement, high-performance AMPR and next-generation average speed enforcement. Cubic Transportation Systems is the world leader in integrated payment and information systems and services for intelligent travel solutions. Cubic provides mass transit payment and ticketing in many of the world's most iconic cities, and through its Next City initiative is bringing innovative multimodal travel planning to both transport authorities and the traveller. QVision solves the problem of getting moving pictures onto a website without the headaches and expense of live streaming. Instead of having to rely on JPEGs, travellers using QVision can see a video of up-to-date traffic conditions, meaning they can see volume and speed of the traffic. It costs a fraction of streaming and has negligible load on internal networks. It can even be used for live sharing of images with partner organisations without the need for costly encoders. Now let me tell you more about one of our sponsors, who are QVision, who are a new company from San Diego in Southern California, who've come up with a really clever way of solving an age-old problem of how to display traffic cameras on a website. Now, up until now, you've had really two options. You could either take a snapshot and turn it into a JPEG and display that and update it every few minutes, or you could actually live stream on the internet. Now, the problem with JPEGs, of course, is that all they do is they show you the volume, but they don't show you the speed of the traffic, and sometimes the volume can be a little bit misleading. But streaming is very expensive. First of all, you've got to encode each camera and then stream each camera onto the internet, which takes up a lot of servers and equipment. But you've also got to have enough bandwidth to cope. If, say, 10,000 people all logged on at the same time, you don't want your network being brought down by too many people trying to stream those pictures. What QVision's done is very clever. It's managed to produce something in between, because what they do, and it's more complicated than this, but I'll try and keep it simple, is take a snapshot of video and actually then put that on the internet. So if I show you this screen here, you'll see that the pictures here are looped. So every few seconds you'll see a truck running across this image here, and you'll see that the truck comes across. There's one going along there, that will come in a minute, and there goes that truck again that we saw a few seconds ago. Now, these pictures are taken every 5 minutes or so and then updated. So viewers are getting very timely, up-to-date traffic information, but they're not having to see streamed video. The other advantage of this is there's no packet loss, it's not buffering at all, and it's using a lot less bandwidth. In fact, the bandwidth load on a computer network in an authority is actually negligible. The other clever thing I'd like to show about it is that these 4 images that you can see on the screen here are all from the same camera. What it's doing is it's grabbing 10 seconds of the camera in the top left-hand side, it's then grabbing another 10 seconds in the top right-hand side and moving around and getting those 4 images, and then a few minutes later going back and doing it again. So the viewer of the camera on the internet is able to see bang up-to-date information about what's happening on the route that they're going to use, but they're not having to have the hassle of streaming it. So it works out about 80% cheaper than it would be if you were having to do live streaming, which is a pretty clever solution. A few other things I'll just quickly show you about it that are very, very clever. You can actually set the views as you wish, so you can move up and down the image and zoom in exactly as you wish. That's one thing you can do. You can also, if you don't like to look at the loop length being 10 seconds and you want them to be slightly longer, you could increase them all to 15 seconds. And that's going to then grab those next time it goes around grabbing them. You want maybe more often than 10 minutes, you might want them every 5 minutes. So you then update them to every 5 minutes and do that. Another clever thing it can do is share the images with another organisation. So you wouldn't send this out to a member of the public, but if you're a Department of Transportation and you've got your traffic camera but there's a crash and you want to show the police or the fire service what's happening at that point, you can just simply send them this and they can actually look at the image themselves in real time and see exactly what's going on, and then deploy the correct personnel to deal with that particular problem. So QVision, new company, qvisiontechnology.com, sponsoring today at Gulf Traffic. And if you're a transportation agency that wants to reach the public with traffic information, or you want to share your images far simpler, QVision are definitely worth a call.
One of the really good things about Gulf Traffic is the fact that as well as the conference, there are free seminars for exhibition visitors. And remember, on the programme yesterday, we spoke to Richard Neumann from SWACO. Well, today we've got another of the seminar speakers with us. He's from Redflex. He's Peter Doletsky, and he joins us now. You're doing a seminar today, Peter. What's it about?
My seminar is about the role of enforcement as a part of any integral traffic strategy. I will be talking about the current technologies in enforcement, the future trends, which way the technology is allowing enforcement technologies to develop, as well as talking about some of the challenges facing enforcement, specifically in winning public acceptance that enforcement, and specifically enforcement cameras, have a vital role to play as a safety mechanism rather than as perceived by many people as a means just to generate revenue and fill government budgets. So I'll be presenting a number of statistics and some interesting, shall we say, case studies of how certain governments are starting to win over the public support and some of the tactics that they have used that have been successful.
I was at a summit in Sydney back in September and chatting to an economist who believes that the future of enforcement isn't on the roadside but is actually in car, by having pay-as-you-drive insurance making you pay a much higher premium if you break speed limits, corner too fast, etc, etc. Do you see that as a possibility, or do you actually think that really enforcement has to be external to the car?
Look, I think it will be a mixture of both for a long time, even if this technology comes in. The simple reason, if you look at Australia, we are a reasonably wealthy country with a fairly high standard of living. If we look at statistics, we see that for the past several years, there has been approximately 1 million new cars sold in Australia. And yet, the average vehicle age in Australia is still between 10 to 12 years. So yes, even if this technology was introduced today on all new cars sold today, it will take many years for each and every car to have the technology. And in some ways, there are a number of administrative and legislative barriers before that sort of technology can actually come to the market.
Fascinating. Thank you very much. It's just one of the seminars you can attend today here at Gulf Traffic. The seminar room is at the back of the exhibition hall. And straight after Peter, we move into another technical session in the seminar room with Alan Yip from Tyco. At 3:05, Alan, you're talking about why SCATS is perfect for urban traffic control. Explain to me why that's the case.
Because it's a system. The system has the things that most customers will need for the traffic control applications.
And is this a balanced view, or is it just a sales job for one of your products?
Obviously, it's a balanced view, because firstly, I will be talking about the installed base of SCATS. Why we have so many people has chosen SCATS, and once they have chosen it, why would they continue to expand the system? The reason if they continue to expand the system, obviously, the system is performing for them.
One of the things we were talking about earlier regarding Qatar is the fact that the Middle East is very much full of very new growing cities. Is the product one that can work equally in a brand new city as working with legacy systems in cities around the world?
That's why SCATS is so well adopted by many countries, especially the developing countries, where the city infrastructure is changing all the time. The traffic network, the traffic volume is growing all the time. The reason SCATS is so good is because it's adaptive. It adapts to the traffic conditions. It generates a new traffic timing according to what it measures on the road.
And remind us again what time you're talking today?
It will be 3:05 today.
Finally, on today at Gulf Traffic for this Tuesday, I'm going to do my shameless plug for Thinking Highways magazine. Now remember, Thinking Highways is a global magazine but split into two. We have a North American edition and then we have a rest of the world edition, and so for advertisers and readers we've always got content that's interesting to you. And remember that Thinking Highways doesn't tell you what people are selling, it tells you what people are thinking. You can pick up a free copy of Thinking Highways magazine here in the exhibition hall, or if you're watching and you're not at Gulf Traffic, just go to thinkinghighways.com and sign up. There's a button in the top right hand corner of the website. Now, Thinking Highways first started back in the mid-2000s, as did one of the big companies now in ITS. They're called INRIX, and when I was very much involved in traffic information, INRIX were the new kid on the block. Now they're everywhere, and I've bumped into an INRIX executive right here in the exhibition hall who is an old colleague and friend of mine called Danny Woolard, and I've also been joined by Hicham, who works for Transpo. So Danny, explain to me what you two are doing together on this stand.
Okay, Paul, nice to meet you again. So what we're doing here, Transpo and INRIX have signed a cooperation agreement to work together here in the Middle East. As you know, we're one of the largest and fastest growing big data companies globally, specializing in the traffic and transport industry. Currently live in 37 countries, and we're here launching our Gulf Traffic services with Transpo.
Now, 2 years ago, I was here just as a visitor and delegate, and I was actually doing some consultancy work for a car company about live traffic information in the Middle East. There was hardly any of it. So what's changed in the last 2 years?
I think the growth in sort of things like fleet telematics, ITS platforms that are being installed within government and authorities here. So there's more and more data becomes available. We make use of that data to create products out of our Fusion platform.
And so, Hicham, tell me, what do you bring to INRIX and what does INRIX bring to Transpo?
Well, it so happens, Transpo and INRIX are based in Seattle, Washington, so we are kind of, close in that regard. So we know that INRIX is a world leader in providing traffic information services. And Transpo Group is a US company that provides next generation ITS services in the region, with offices in Abu Dhabi, Riyadh, and Jeddah, and projects throughout the region as well. So we know the future is in data, big data, information dissemination to traffic, and giving drivers choices.
Hicham, Danny, thanks very much indeed for joining us on today at Gulf Traffic. And that'll do it for Tuesday at Gulf Traffic. Thanks for watching. Tomorrow, no conference, it's just all about the exhibition. So we'll be looking around the exhibition at some of the must-see exhibits and people to talk to. Join me again tomorrow for Wednesday at Gulf Traffic.